and the Buddha, one who shows me the way.
Recording in progress.
Here we are, we discover that there's a body. And it's alive, it's conscious, or there is consciousness that comes along with it. There is breathing in and breathing out. We can practice meditation with some pretty severe fantasies. We can be striving to be something special or somehow have no more rough edges. To have some particular spectacular experience, an altered state. Or we can simply practice being right here. Breathing in and breathing out. Each breath has a beginning. It really does. Every single one. It has a lifetime of arising to fullness, declining and disappearing. There are thoughts. There are the 5 hindrances. There are the enlightenment factors. Chief among them, mindfulness. We humans have powerful emotions. We have the ongoing onslaught of feelings, pleasant, unpleasant, and indeterminate experiences arising out of contact with life. If we're healthy, we form attachments with other people. We actually experience our own well-being as tied up in the lives of others. The blessed ones whose love showers on us and vice versa. And sometimes there's loss and heartbreak. Different people, different families, different cultures have differing ideas and impulses and rules about what one should feel. We're not practicing to become beings with no feelings. We're actually practicing to become exactly who we are. And then when there's sadness or anger or loneliness or joy, we dare to fully experience it, to become fully human in this moment. Sometimes we're afraid we'll break, get lost, never find our way through. And yet, the way to wholeness is through. So as Stephen Levine used to say, let us accept the healing we took birth for. Settling back into the present moment. Noticing the breath coming and going. Awakening from the dreams of thoughts, memories, fantasies, into this moment of breathing in and breathing out. embracing each breath. With awareness, love, and compassion. When somehow, mysteriously, there is awakening from a dream, from a trance, from an obsession, when there's awakening, when there's awareness again, acknowledging the fact of that awakeness, even if it lasts a tenth of a second. It's the path. It's where the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha manifest. This in-breath now. This random thought now. These emotions now. And where do the emotions take place in the body? And noticing how a moment of concentration, when the mind is absorbed in breathing, the emotions are gone. They may come right back, but they are not solid, nor are they permanent. And perhaps the mind this morning is very calm. Why not bask in that calmness? Delight in it. It is in the present moment that we choose our destiny. The conditionings of the past ripen into this moment. They come along with impulses, emotions, thoughts, intentions to act. With mindfulness, we are able to let many phenomena, many sankharas, arise and simply pass away. In some traditions, they get very fancy about karma burning. This is karma burning. The conditions arise and we simply are awake, watching the show of the world unfold. Daring to be more fully human. Breathe in and out. And now please let us remember the aspiration. I aspire to love and accept myself exactly as I am in this moment. When I'm hurting, no matter how I'm hurting, I aspire to hold myself in sweet compassion. It's time. It's time. And now please let us become aware of the body as it sits here and touches the floor. And then check in with the hands and the feet, the legs. Bringing awareness into the eyes, and then noticing seeing as you open the eyes. And seeing with the eyes of blessing. Hey, Tim. How's the drum doing here? Oh, I got to turn on my sound. Hang on. I hope I can. Sound okay? Huh. I need to have a thumbs up or some thumbs down. My sound is not working. Good? Okay. Your grief this morning reminded me of this story, Aaron. It's an ancient story from the time of the Buddha. This is kind of in the way. Let me get rid of it if I can. Big honking thing. It's the story, I believe, of Maya Gotami. I may have the name wrong, but we all know her. We've all been her. Actually, oh my, that brings a wave of emotion. I heard her recently. I was at my daughter's apartment, and sirens blared, and they stopped at our door, at the door of this little complex. The EMTs went into an apartment across the way, and then a woman began screaming. And it was that scream that curdles your blood. And she screamed and screamed and screamed. They had a new baby, 10 weeks old. Tara knew that. And later I went for a walk with her dog, and the EMTs were all still there. And I engaged them in conversation, not about that, but actually about the Dharma. And one of them said, I think I need meditation, especially in times like this. There are some calls that just break your heart. Turned out that their 10-month-old baby, 10-week-old baby had died. And that's where the story of Maya Gotami comes in. Maya Gotami was that woman in the apartment across the way. And her baby died. And she freaked out. And she stayed freaked out, and she couldn't accept this impossible thing. How do you accept that? I mean, even as a story at a distance, it's hard to wrap the mind around it. It's harder yet to wrap the heart around it. Anyway, Maya Gotami heard that the Buddha was nearby. And she went to the Buddha. He heard her coming. Everyone heard her coming. And she came and she threw herself at his feet and said, "Save my baby, save my baby." And she had the baby in her arms. And she was insistent, and the Buddha said, "I'm sorry, my dear. That's not possible. But you are the Buddha. You are the awakened one. Save my baby. Save my baby." And speaking as a parent, how could one possibly tolerate that experience? And the Buddha said finally, after she asked him a dozen times, "Save my baby. Do the magic. Bring my baby back." He said, "Okay, I will. However, there's one condition. And that condition is that you will go to the village and you will get me 1 teaspoon of mustard seed. And it must be from a house that has known no death." And so she ran off, anxious, ready, relieved. Oh, thank goodness. And she went to the first door and she said, "I'd like some mustard seed, please. I need it to save my baby. And it must be, please tell me you have known no death in this house and family." And they, of course, said, "Well, actually, I'm sorry, we don't have that." And she went from house to house. And the story can get very long here. But the essence of it is clear. She went from house to house. And everyone always had the same story. "I had miscarriages. My baby died stillbirth. Grandpa just died. My auntie died in her sleep last night. And so she went from door to door. It took her a long time because she was just like us. And slowly, ever so slowly, she tired of it. And she went up to one final door and said, "Please, I need a teaspoon of mustard seed. And it must be that your house has never known any death. Your family has not known death." And the woman looked at her sadly and said, "Well, my brother had a car accident last week and died. Or COVID took Grandma. And so Maya Gotami and we don't know if her journey into the village was 2 houses or 5 houses, or a month, or a year, or 5 years, or 10 years. But at a certain point, she turned and went back to the Buddha. And she sat down at his feet and said, "Speak to me of the Dharma." And he said, "All conditioned things are impermanent. Look upon this world as a star at dawn, a flash of lightning in a summer cloud, a phantom, a dream. And Maya Gotami said, "I'm ready to practice." And the story goes that she became a fully awakened being who taught many. Of course, this isn't a story about not grieving. I think Maya Gotami grieved to the very bottom of her grief. She felt the whole thing, the whole human catastrophe. And so when the sadness comes, make place, make room for it. Call a friend. Lie with your head in somebody's lap. Get a hand to hold. Band together somehow. Big things happen in our lives. What was that last line from Merton? Thomas Merton. In the end, it is the reality of personal relationship that saves everything. I guess I'd say personal relationship and a willingness to practice deeply. To feel deeply, to I woke up this morning with a fresh determination to what? To notice when I'm busy distracting and lost in some fantasies and actually coming to be here. right now. That was fun using my drum. I haven't done that in a long time. Somewhere on YouTube, way back, they're all recorded there, I think. I did an 1.5-hour rendition of the life of the Buddha using my drum. Fascinating story. So I have a couple of predictable announcements. One is I'm really glad to be here with you. That's different. That's not an announcement. This was important for me this morning to be with you. The second one is the drawing of our attention to the fundraising that PIMC is now engaged in. We are engaged in, us. And there's a link in the chat to the letter. There's 700 letters, snail mail letters going to go out later this week, and you'll probably get one of those. And I ask you to, when you get it, or when you click on the link, to reflect upon the importance of what we're doing here and how it changes your life. My day, I know my day is going to be completely different as a result of gathering together this morning. Because I was a little frazzled, a little scattered, sort of anyway. Stayed up too late watching stupid television. It's quite remarkable to me that I do that. Strange. Manifest. Anyway, you can do something important if you have some disposable income, and I invite you to really think about it. There's guidance about how much to give, and the one that I like the most is give until your heart feels full. And to reflect on it. One thing I suggest on retreats when people are using a dana basket is to sit with the basket for a while. Sit and reflect. What is it I really want to do here? And maybe financial access to money isn't your thing, but when the center opens, maybe you can come and participate and volunteer. Whatever the case, it's all about belonging. And the second one was, the diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging survey. If you haven't filled that out, please do. It'll take you 5 or 10 minutes, probably 10. But we're trying to find out who we are as a community and where it is we want to go in this very diverse world. And there's a picnic coming up, possibly Saturday, the something or other. Jim, will you speak of it while I see if I can get some sound? What the heck? Okay. Window. Audio mixer. MacBook Pro speakers. Scarlett 2i2. Thanks, Jim. So, have you anything you'd like to share this morning, friends? I'd like I don't know, some kind of a nice Danish, if you have one. Thank you, Jim. I think I'm craving this morning because I'd even settle for a powdered donut. Jeez. I lived in Europe for 2 years. I know what pastry is, and here I am craving a powdered donut. It's perverse. Oh, shit. Huh. What a new idea. That I should be craving sugar, right? Oh, dear. Yes. Guilty as charged. Oh, my. You do. Well, I think it's a very important one, too, actually. Now, I, of course, have a selected sample because I've met the people that I've met in my roles as, quote, therapist. So I never thought of myself as a therapist. From the start, I've been a Dharma teacher. And my intention is Kalyan Namita, which is spiritual friend. But I gotta turn this down. So people have come to me, quote, as a therapist, social worker, and so on. And people have come to me on retreats, and I've taught a lot of retreats. I don't know, there's no way to count them, but many, and whatever the case. So I have my selected sample, and I have never met a person who shared with me deeply, who was not struggling with the human mind and with obsessions or compulsions or greed, hatred, and ignorance manifest themselves, ignorance, the verb, profoundly. I have met a few people over the years, and I must say, I guess I've been jealous of them, and kind of wondered, is this person for real? But I've met people whose parents are still together and who love each other, and their siblings get along, actually talk to each other, care about each other, and there doesn't seem to be major tumult in the psychological realm. It's still complicated and people get sick and so on, but that's been very rare. Most people I meet, myself certainly included, I'm thinking of a William Stafford poem about if we don't communicate clearly, we let the horrible effects of childhood come streaming out through the broken dike. So, it's funny what comes to mind I want to share. If we think of a spectrum, not the spectrum, but a spectrum, from severe mental illness like schizophrenia and developmental disorders and the biologically based mental illnesses, that our mental health, our human health, goes from that to a fully awakened being. And there's a whole spectrum is the word that keeps coming up. Things like true borderline personality disorder and sociopathy, and these have some significant roots in biology, and we have developed, and it's one of the great things that we've developed in the West, is we've developed medications that can help people who are having florid delusions and so on. I'm making this too long-winded, probably, but then there's this realm that I think of as garden variety neurosis, and that's where many or most of us find ourselves. And we have unresolved grief, and we have anger issues and addiction issues, and we're normal. And we can make really good use of therapy, and we can start healing some of that stuff. And so there's a range here where Western therapies are particularly helpful. And then starting somewhere here in garden variety neurosis, all the way to awakening, comes the Buddhist teachings, and really fundamental mental health. That we realize, we come to realize that, yes, I've got all these complicated things, and yes, there's these addictions and compulsions, and I'm carrying wounds from the things that happened in childhood, but there's this quality of awakeness that we then develop, and we start attenuating the craziness. We start making friends with it, that we actually do become saner and saner. And we grow the part of ourselves that is awake and alive and compassionate and so on. And the neurotic, freaked out, selfish, greedy, uncaring parts of us become a much smaller part of the equation. And that's not available to everybody. People with really severe delusional disorders, for instance, the last thing you want to do is try to teach them how to do sitting meditation. One might teach them mindfulness. Be mindful while you eat your dinner. And there's been lots of research that's helpful. But I guess simplifying my answer, all we have to do is look at the world to see if mental illness, in that broadest term, is rampant, and it is. And a question for me, what happens that some people start to wake up? What happened? What happened to you? How come you're here, speaking to all of us, how come you're here this morning doing this weird meditation thing? I mean, it's not really weird. Obviously, it's so simple and straightforward. But what prompted you to set off on a quest? And I know mine started really early. I was dissatisfied with the way things were, and I thought I was in the wrong family. But that's not to say that I realized, oh, I'm on a spiritual quest. And when I went to India, I didn't go to India to learn to meditate. I went to India because the mountains were where I had found solace in my life and spirit. And so I went to go trekking in the Himalayas. That was the purpose, quote, of that trip. And lo and behold, Goenka was lying in wait for me, and that first meditation retreat. So, is that any help? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. You know, there's something I actually learned. Matt Flickstein told me this. I'm giving away a trade secret. This is from Advanced Dharma Teacher Training with Matt Flickstein. He said, when someone comes in to talk to you and they say, is what I'm experiencing normal? The answer is always yes, because you're experiencing it. Yes, this is part of the human condition. Right? You're all caught up in some obsession. Yep. This is normal. And actually, the thing, I feel so fortunate to have had the opportunities and the training that I've had, that with a few exceptions, I don't meet anybody who's having symptoms that I don't know in myself. I've been psychotic on retreats. I was floridly paranoid and delusional coming down off that horrible Keppra medication that I got when I was in the hospital, and it was so bad for me. I've known in meditation the impulse to kill, to act really badly, and because it's all in there. And so, just to balance that, I've also known love of such a magnitude that everyone in the room is me. I like that one. So I don't know if that's a help. I hope so. That what we're experiencing is what we're experiencing. And I guess I would say one more thing. I'm an immigrant. I came to the United States from Canada and the world. And I'm a refugee from a family system that was very debilitating. And the fact that I have survived and even sometimes flourished is a tribute to the Dharma and to love and to the fact that we can heal and we can not follow our script and live out a fate, that we actually can create a destiny, that it's possible. It's possible to not just go on that ballistic curve that was predicted, could have been predicted from childhood. And the Dharma, I mean, that's what I'm so grateful to the Buddha and to Ruth and all my teachers. And to all the people who've come to me as, quote, students, where we get to be together and practice. Thanks, Guy. Normal. Well, you should be normal. Yeah, normal. Huh. You know, Carl Jung, one of my heroes, Jung coined the term, or he made popular the term in his writings, individuation. And in the last year of his life, he said, in modernity, he would have said these words: if I could go back and use search and replace in all my writings, I would replace individuation with the rather awkward term, as he put it, personality specificity. And that the journey is about revealing the specifics of your personality. And then also recognizing that that is part of the one, or the mystery, or the... Hello, dear Aaron. You look pretty soft around the edges this morning. Ah. I don't know. I don't know, but because the dream pulls on us so strongly, the fantasies and the distractions and the however, I know, growing in me, there's a stronger and stronger impulse to be awake. And I know that's true in you too. I've seen it. And so an event like this, remind me your auntie's name? Arlene. So you watched Arlene get really sick and die. And your heart is blown open again. And you're working in hospice now, of all things. And so today, you're going to really be here in the present. And the veil is torn, and there'll be a few days or a few weeks when it'll be, the veil between worlds is torn, when you will be particularly privileged to have the fantasy, the dream tarnished, or I do like the notion that the curtain between the worlds has been torn. And the research shows that there's about 6 weeks, interestingly, for many people, that during that time, the opportunity to go deeper in your practice is really there. Because the denial of death has been shattered, sort of. And that's why I performed a memorial service for one of the grandmothers of the NATO family here in Portland just the other day at a graveside, and I finished my little thing that I had prepared, and then at the end I paused and I thought, well, I'm going to go way off script, and I said, and I know several of them, some of them fairly well, and I heard myself say, our culture is quadriplegic when it comes to grief. We don't know how to do it. We think you should go back to work the next day, and that's just absolutely wrong. And so I said, I'm going to give you some unsolicited advice, and that is, if this was your mother, or your grandmother, or your aunt, or if you're the spouse of someone for whom this was an important death, recognize that Millicent is giving you all the most important gift of her lifetime, and that is that she has vanished. And so why not take off the next 2 weeks? Take off your work. Why not pause? Why not really commit to, I'm going to feel my way into this, and why not make the best possible use of this? And it was the ceremony had gone well, and there had been some very beautiful sharing and so on, very brief. But a couple of people came up afterwards. I then went to a lunch that they put on, and a couple of people came up and thanked me for what I said at the end, because we don't know. We don't know what to do. We think we should. I'll agree, but I'll take it in stride and I'll go to work tomorrow. Wait, my heart's broken. I mean, in a kind, loving culture, there would be at least 1 week grieving leave. Like we're beginning to become a part of the modern world by having medical leave and what do you call it, leave after giving birth and so on. But I can't. It's just so crazy that we think we're supposed to just go on. And in fact, something's opened. The chasm, the whatever word we want to put it, something has opened, and reality is glaring us in the face. And so, that's the whole Buddha going forth story. That we don't have to leave our home and family to go forth. It's that we realize, wait, the consolation prizes that I'm chasing. I was thinking of this last night watching that ridiculous TV program. Why am I doing this? Came up 10 or 11 times. Why don't I just sit? This is so odd that I'm distracting with this story. And then I finally turned it off and sat for a little while and went to bed. But the impulse to be unconscious is very powerful. That's my rant. They are. Yeah. Are you sitting every day? Keep that up. Maybe increase your sitting time. Be sure to take. I can't tell if it's too much too soon, but you're a pretty darn experienced meditator and human being. You've faced into a lot of dukkha. I mean, in just the time I've known you, you have ridden the river of loss as much as anybody I know. So, how about this? Maybe you should take a week off. Why not? If there's, just, or whatever, just make more time for you to be inward and heal. I know you to be superhuman, but I think you might take your cape off and just be your blessed, vulnerable self. Since I met you, I have always admired you for the work that you do and been kind of amazed that you could be in the middle of those contexts of life and death. It's front line stuff, Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. You're having a beautiful optical effect right now. The sun of your halo For a moment, the beauty of your halo is showing, and you're hang on. I'm gonna spotlight you for a second and see if I can take a screenshot. I'll send it to you. Hang on. How do I spotlight? There's. Oh my goodness, it's too cool. Did that work? Hang on, I'm gonna do this. Oh, shoot. No, it got me instead. I won't fiddle too much here, but let me just try. Oh, here it is. Here, I got the possibility of doing it. Oh, this is fun. All right. Oh, there we go. All right, here I go. Now I do this. Here we go. Toot, toot, toot. All right, record. Oh, I got to do it twice. I do this and then this. Here we go. Ready for screen capture. Erin with her halo. Yes. Ha ha. I got it. It's not great, but it's good. I don't know. I think I got it just before it. Maybe it's because I messed with it. I saw you smiling there, Kimberly, for a moment. I had the marvelous experience of having Kimberly do a photo shoot with me the other day. And boy, now that's an experience. If you ever want to really feel taken care of and worthy somehow, go see Kimberly. She's the real deal. If you want to get a photograph, I haven't seen the photographs yet. I'm very curious. She showed me one on the back of the camera, and it actually made me cry. So pretty. So here I am weeping. My goodness, it's hopeless. Get rid of this. Well, friends, 8:30. Kind of gone. Is it normal to run over this much? It is here. Oh, I should also mention, I shall be absent from these morning broadcasts and from Sundays for 2 weeks at the end of August. The other teachers from PIMC will be filling in. I will be putting aside electronics and going in a rented RV to Eastern Oregon. So we're going to disconnect for a couple of weeks. We're planning on a night in the Alvord. I've been there way back when. You know, I have a funny story of the Alvord. I was there with Nancy, my former partner, and we had a van. And we were way out in the middle of the Alvord Desert. And we were pretty spread out. You know, the van had exploded and we had all kinds of stuff set up. And then in the middle of the night, I started hearing distant thunder. And then it became pretty apparent that it was coming toward us. And then it occurred to me, I don't think it's very nice out here when it really rains. And we packed the van. It was the fastest packing of the van. I mean, we threw it in. We just picked up stuff, and by the time we got it packed, there was half an inch of water on the Alvord Desert, and it was starting to get slippery, and we got off, but it was very iffy, and I've heard stories that people have not done, their vehicles have not done well, stuck out there when the water suddenly was 2 feet deep. And so that was my last memory of the Alvord Desert, was laughing and fleeing as quickly as we could. It gets so slick, that salt flat stuff. Oh. Uh-huh. Well, I'm hoping for dry. Yeah. Yeah. The Alvord Desert. And Snake River Canyon, and Jennifer is a planner. She has a whole plan. I will do my best to conform. I'd be much more prone to go without an itinerary and find out where we got to stop, but it'll be good. Well, I must go. Lovely to be with you. Shall we yashakur ourselves out of here, or shall we... Let's be traditional. I forget how it starts. Mindful. Bhavatu, there it is. Ready to unmute and be totally harmonious. Bhavatu Sabbe Mangalam. Bhavatu Sabbe Mangalam. Bhavatu Sabbe Mangalam. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Goodbye, dear fellow humans. Let us make our way through today with whatever it brings. Who knows what it's going to bring us? Well, maybe it shouldn't be abnormal. You're right, though. Marshall's right about that word. That word should is so violent. Yeah. It's violent job? Yeah. Yep. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for coming. Thank you, dear Aaron. Hi, Steve. Here we go. Sandra. Good morning, Sandra. Hi. Sure. Or yeah. Okay. Let me write. Let me get to the right spot. Sandra. Okay, I'm ready. Uh-huh. 778-427 9997. 778-427-9997. All right, I'll call you back in a moment. Bye. Hello. Oh, really? Oh, because it. Oh, right. Because the cell service is not great. Oh, hang on. I need to turn off Facebook. Goodbye, friends on Facebook and YouTube. Sorry, I forgot to.